One of the most iconic fish you'll see across social media is the peacock bass, massive, vibrant, and found deep in some of the most remote jungle waters on the planet. Today, we're heading into one of those places, Baku Lodge out of Colombia. There, the local indigenous community welcomes you like family, and you'll hear firsthand from 3 people on the ground and on the water of what it's really like to chase giant peacocks in untamed waters. This is the Wet Fly Swing podcast, where I show you the best places to travel to for fly fishing, how to find the best resources and tools to prepare for that big trip, and what you can do to give back the fish species we all love. How's it going? I'm Dave, host of the Wet Fly Swing podcast. I've been fly fishing since I was a little kid, grew up around a little fly shop, and created one of the largest fly fishing podcasts out there. Today, Andres, Jason, and Nick are going to take us deep into the Colombian jungle to show us what it's really like to target these giant peacock bass, some up to 25 pounds. Along the way, you're going to learn why Colombia is much safer to travel to than most people think, how this adventure is surprisingly affordable. We're going to talk about that today, a full week at this lodge, a price we talk about at the end that is pretty amazing of what you get here and what to expect when you're out there, and how to prepare for your first jungle trip. Plus, you're going to find out what the underloop cast is all about from Nick the Stick. He gets it done today. We're going to talk Lamson, liquid outfit, and all the rest. Here we go. Without further ado, the boys, BakuLodge.com. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah.
Good, bud.
Awesome. This is great to have you guys on here. I'm excited because I always talking to Nick Torres from Lamson there. We've had some pretty amazing journeys over the year. Nick, we'll probably talk a little bit about some of the trips, notably the Alaska trip, which we tend to go back. But you've been on the podcast a number of times. Andres, Jason, you guys are new. We're going to talk about Baku Lodge, a couple of species, peacock bass, the vampire fish, some fish that we've talked about, Colombia. I think it's a place that's definitely a bucket list place. I mean, I think probably everybody listening wants to get down there. And I want to kind of shed some light on this to let them know what it's like, maybe how to get down there and how to put together a trip. Does that sound okay for you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just jump into a quick little round of intros. And maybe, Andres, maybe we'll start with you and just tell us who you are and maybe how you came to be connected to Baku Lodge there.
Yeah, okay. My name is Andres Campos. I'm originally from Colombia, but I live in South Florida, Miami. I've been there for 20 years. And I started doing this since I was a kid, like fishing and hunting, because my grandparent was a big guy and big name here in Colombia for hunting and fishing. And he started this like probably 30, 40 years ago. And my family's been in the business for that time. So I got together with Jason. Actually, Jason had I think always said that he's the one that started all this, because he called me one day and asked me if I knew someone that had a lodge down here in Colombia to send some people to fish. And I kind of, at that particular time, my uncle, who had this lodge for a few years, was living the lodge. So I knew that. So I just told Jason, hey, just wait a minute, let me just make some phone calls. And I did. And I called the community here that we talk about it later. And they told me we're looking for someone to run the lodge, and I said, okay, I'll do it. And that's how really it started. That was that easy. But I mean, it's a lot of story behind my family and fishing, and my uncles and my grandpa and my granddad was a pioneer on pickleball fishing in Colombia and also in Brazil, like 30, 40 years ago. So, I mean, our background in fishing is being pretty big and very important for the Colombian Amazon basin, and Orinoco River too. So then we had this lodge that we'll talk about it, and my uncle had it for like 2 years. I jumped in, and we had our first season this season, which went very, very well, and we're looking forward for the future coming.
Wow, amazing. We'll definitely get into some of the family. I always love hearing some stories of the family and the history too.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, let's keep this going. Jason, why don't you give us an intro of how you came to be connected? Well, we heard a little bit of it there, but have you been doing a lot of these trips out in the kind of southern part of the world, in recent years?
Yeah. I my side hustle, so to speak, I do. I work with a company called Truck Safaris, a 50-year-old company that kind of, along with, was involved in it with Eric and Andres' family for 30 years, maybe more, and I travel a lot with them. And the owner of the company asked me a few years ago to come check out what was called Las Lagunas, was the name of the lodge. And it actually was across the river. It was just more of a camp. And I flew in and spent a couple of days with Andres' uncle, caught some freaking monster peacocks, but really fell in love with the Bachaco people. They're our host, the community here, indigenous tribe, just kind people and hardworking and just kind of bonded and connected, albeit with very poor Spanish. And yeah, so when I called up, well, I will say that social media can be terrible, but in the case of Baku Lodge, it was great because Andres reached out to me and I said, "Hey, I hear you're going, and let me know how your experience is." And so we kind of made contact through Instagram, and then I was asking him about flies to use. He sent me a bunch of flies and didn't even know me and sent me probably a couple $100 worth of flies. And
trip to Bolivia that you had, right?
And he made a reel like of his experience, and he included pictures from mine, and then his son's a competitive shooter, so he came to Jacksonville to compete in sporting clays.
Yeah.
And we got together and we just we bonded, and so I definitely fell in love with Colombia and wondered. I've always had a dream of fishing lodge. I mean, I think most people who fish enough like dream about a special place that's like home, like Cheers, but in the jungle.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, I reached out. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about doing something down there?" And he was like, "Yeah, my uncle's he's pulling out, and we got this place across the river from the old camp, and this is a very nice, amazing like walled rooms they're cool with fans, a lot of little touches, but it's still in the middle of the jungle. And, we just had a vision to make the experience, and, try to bring groups in who had the passion that we have. We're calling friends and they're putting our groups together. Nick got involved, sent us a bunch of fly gear, he's here now. And like, this is the dream, is just sharing the experience of this amazing place with other people and new friends that you meet.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love the Cheers analogy. That's always was a classic show, and it makes a lot of sense because you want that place, right? You want that place where you can kind of keep coming back to and you kind of know everybody. And I think that probably the people, like you mentioned, the indigenous people is a big part of that. But well, Nick, let's hear from you. Give us a quick little update. You've been on this podcast before, but for those that are new, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Nick Torres. I work for Lamson Fly Fishing. I'm the community manager there. I manage our pro program, marketing, do a few things. But yeah, so Andres reached out to me last fall. He had been fishing some of our gear there in Florida already and was just like, I really like your guys' stuff. I'm taking over the family business down here in the jungle, and, we could use some gear. And after hearing the story about, his pedigree and his, family history and how long they've been doing stuff down here, really pioneering the peacock bass experience in Colombia, I was like, it's a no-brainer. So let me send you a bunch of stuff. And they've been fishing it all year. And then he reached back out to me and was like, we love the stuff. We'd love to have you down. And basically I was like, you don't have to twist my arm to have a good time. So I'll see you in March. And here we are.
Yeah. And so what has it been for you, Nick? You get there. I'm not sure. I think you've been down in some of that part of the world, but what's it like for you to get back there? Have you been there? Have you been in that area?
So it's been about 33 years since I've been to Colombia.
Wow.
When I was 8 years old, my dad's from Argentina, mom's from the States. I grew up in South Dakota. When I was 8, my parents kind of got a wild hair and decided to sell everything we had. And my dad bought an old beat up Suburban diesel, and we drove from South Dakota to Argentina. And I got to spend about a week and a half in Colombia. This was back in 1991. And so it's always been a dream to get back down here. And especially, once I really got into fishing, peacock bass have been kind of an obsession of mine for a long time. I'm a big bass guy. I like catching any kind of bass, but these are kind of the king of bass, right? And so I really had to jump at the opportunity to get down here, and I'm so happy I did.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I can attest to the fact you don't have to twist Nick's arm to do it, to do anything fun.
No.
You don't have to get anywhere near his
That's the
arm.
name of the game. I'm all about the fun.
Yeah. I know people on this podcast have heard the stories, but the road trip Nick and I had up into Alaska was one for we'll never forget for sure. It's going to be pretty hard to beat that road. I mean, but I am interested.
You know, Dave.
Yeah. What was your take, Nick, on that trip?
I mean, that Alaska trip was one for the books. It's something I'll always remember. Getting to connect with you and Adam from FishHound Expeditions was just so cool. And that was, one of the most remote things I've done. But I got to say, where I'm at right now, it's by far the most remote place I've been on the planet. And it's so cool to just get away and get to a place like this. Yeah.
When you were in Alaska, did Nick make you stay up till all hours of the night, or did
we got stories. I could go hours talking about the stories. The great one I love about Alaska is that we stay up late at this poker tournament. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was amazing because Nick almost took
the VFW in Talkeetna.
Talkeetna.
And Nick, VFW, really?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, you remember that night, Nick, the old poker tournament?
Oh, I can't forget it. Hustled a bunch of old guys at the VFW for their money.
Yeah, you have no shame, my man. I mean, come on.
I like to play cards. What can I say?
So what I'd like to do, is paint the picture of what this is. I mean, I think that I'm starting to think about this right now, what this looks like in the middle of, the jungle. You've got all these amazing fish. And I think the peacock bass is one. I think you guys maybe this area is known for some of the largest bass down in there, but talk about that. Whoever wants to take it, what is it about peacock bass that gets people so fired up? And are they bass species? Are they similar to a smallmouth bass, largemouth bass?
No, they're cichlids, totally different species, but they definitely have, sort of a largemouth bass shape to them. And bass anglers are very drawn to fishing for peacocks because it's the very similar type of fishing, using the same types of lures and flies, but just like 4 or 5 times bigger, to 10 times the size of a bass flies and lures. But yeah, the thing is, honestly, people come down here to catch big peacocks, and the average fish we get here is typically 8 to 10 pounds, and we get a lot of 15s and 20s. Andre's caught a 25-pound peacock this year on the fly. In fact, he alone has how many?
I got this one. I caught 15 fish over 18 pounds.
Yeah. So, and a lot of our clients have caught plus 20-pound peacocks. But I think ultimately, I mean, they take a lot of top water. For conventional guys, they love top water, and even like a 5-pound peacock on top water, it's like an explosion. They're mean. They pull hard. You have to have stiff rods. You have to have 60-pound test line. You have to have your drag tightened all the way down. And they just, even with all that, I mean, they can take you into structure, and you have to be on your A game at all times. So I think the reason why people, come to fish peacock bass is because it's that experience is like largemouth bass fishing on steroids for 20 years. It's insane. The takes are insane. The fight is insane. And then landing the fish, they're just beautiful fish, and they make great pictures.
I got to tell you, Dave, I've never felt a freshwater fish pull like these fish. They are violent. They're aggressive. They're mean. And it's just so fun. I mean, I don't know how Andres landed a 25. I've had a couple of fish so far in the 10 to 12 pound range that kicked my ass. Let's be real.
I was lucky to have it on the open water. I had no structure nearby, so I would have a structure close by. I will never get that fish in.
Yeah, we had a client earlier this year, a very good fishing guide in Florida, who the fish were on bed. And he hooked the same fish twice, and both times broke him off. And then, very disappointed. But on the last half of the last day, he caught that fish. And it's just, and I think the idea of fishing in the jungle, it takes you back to almost childhood. I mean, Nick and I were talking about this. Is pretending you were Tarzan or whatever. And this is it, man. I mean, this is it, but it's a nice place. The food is great. Like our team loves people and the tribe loves people, but the people do this trip annually. They'll come back year after year after year because of the total experience, right?
Yeah. And what is it for somebody that hasn't been down the jungle? How would you describe that? How is it, what is the jungle like? Is it the noises, the plants, the animals? Like what makes it different down there?
It's hard to explain because it's like a unique place that you can't compare to anything. The heat is probably the same as South Florida sometimes, but at night it's very cool. And sometimes it's as quiet as it can be. And there's nothing moving, no birds flying. And some other days it's just the whole jungle kind of wakes up and it's monkeys screaming and macaws and the fish jumping. And, it's like you're in the middle of like one of those Disneyland, like what's it called? The blue with the macaw, the movie. Yeah, it's just like that. And some other days it's just quiet and peaceful. And I love both parts, but
Yeah, I think it is. It is like, you hear a lot of sounds here, like at night after the rain. I mean, it's like we have some light here. I mean, you can kind of see a little bit around, but you're in the midst of mostly pitch dark and just hearing all the noises and stuff, like thinking about what's that. We did have some jaguar tracks outside camp one night, and there
pythons coming.
Yeah, we had some crazy snakes and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think it is. It's a little bit like, I think, that feeling of like, what were the ancestors? What was their life like? What was it like to, be somewhere, in a primitive environment? I mean, we spoil people here with the facility, but you still have that feel. I mean, when you wake up, you hear the sounds, and you walk out to grab a drink out of the cooler. There's always a chance the jag might come in here. I mean,
I've been looking for them. I've been trying to spot one, but we'll see. We'll see if we get one by the end of the week. But no, the facilities are amazing. Picture, thatched roof buildings. We have a dining room. We have a tackle room. Everybody has their own private cabana room. Beautiful. Yeah, couldn't be happier with.
And everything was made by the Indian community.
Oh, really?
So that's more special. Yeah. They did everything, and this is such a nice job with it, and you can tell. You've seen the pictures.
Yeah, I mean, Andres, we talked about like what we wanted to do here that was different or better, an improvement over the previous place. And we've both been to many other jungle lodges, and we definitely wanted to have attention to detail. So like he has been so good with the members of the Bachaco tribe to create this really special, like, when you roll up the first time and you walk in, it looks native, but it's like the flora, the fauna, and all the wood details, and like he added all the wood on the doors and around the bathrooms and stuff like that. And it's just like, I mean, it just, I don't know. I mean, I put us up against any jungle lodge in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's a really amazing place.
Also, food is very important for us. I mean, for me, food is like, we can't control fishing. You know how fishing is. But if at least you're having a tough day out there and you come back and you have a good dinner or lunch, and then you have a good bed and good weather and everything else works fine. It makes it easy, for an anglers that are having hard time catching fish. And if you catch fish and you have everything else, that's a trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, and I'm definitely one thing we did when we talked to people who are talking about coming here, this is a place, as you mentioned earlier, where you have a really good shot at getting a 20-pound peacock, like a really, really good shot. Like the water's a little high right now, and it's a good thing we have really good anglers here, because you're having to get really close to structure and stuff. And but typically when the water level is normal, you're going to catch quite a few big fish, and you're gonna have a great shot at a 20-pound peacock. And
and also the vampire fish.
Well, the payara as well, man. I mean, that's we just had an angler catch a 22-pound payara, which is
wow.
It's a big boy. Yeah, that's
we don't advertise payara because we specialize in pickup bass, but a payara can change your week. I love payara. I mean, payaros and a fly are badass.
But this is not a place. This is not a place for people to expect to come and like, I'm gonna throw in and I'm gonna get a fish every 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you come out here and you hardcore fish for, a few big fish a day, and hopefully you hit the jackpot and hit that 25 pounder.
Yeah, I think every client on this trip, on this season. So at least you're breaking your own records.
You got to work for these fish, Dave, but if you're like me, I enjoy working for my fish. And if they come too easy, you get a little bored after a while, but the rewards have been awesome. I haven't had a day without at least a couple decent fish. Almost snapped a couple rod. Well, we did break one rod.
Oh, you did?
It wasn't a Lamson. It wasn't a Lamson rod, luckily, but the Lamson rods have been holding up pretty good so far.
Holding up pretty good.
If you're looking for a world-class fly fishing experience, it's time to check out Mountain Waters Resort. Nestled along Newfoundland's legendary Portland Creek, this spot has a history that runs as deep as the Atlantic salmon that call it home. Once a fly fishing retreat for the great Lee Wolf, today it's your turn to step into these historic waters and swing up your salmon this year. You can head over to wetflyswing.com/mountainwaters right now and make it happen. That's wetflyswing.com/mountainwaters. Let's get out there today. Discover Smitty's Fly Box for premium flies. Their monthly subscription service delivers expertly crafted flies and materials tailored to your fishing environment. Boasting over 30 years of experience, Smitty's is your trusted source for a diverse range of flies. Enhance your fishing experience and make life easier with their carefully created selections. You can subscribe right now at smittysflybox.com and join a community of passionate anglers. Well, let's take a little gear break and talk about that a little bit on the rods. What is, if somebody's setting up for this trip, are they typically bringing their own stuff down there, or is this something where you want to get geared up and or do you guys have all that gear for clients?
Well, now Baku has a lot of gear. So if somebody doesn't have, a 9-weight or an 8-weight that they, if they're coming from trout country or something and they don't have one, Andres can definitely provide one. We brought a bunch of new stuff down this year, so we're fishing our Liquid Max outfits.
I tried that today, yeah.
Yep, that's kind of our big game rod reel outfit. It's been working great. I've been using a lot of the Cobalt 9-weights. And the Cobalts are kind of like our saltwater rod, but, they transfer across a lot of different fisheries. And they've been perfect for down here, especially the 9-weight for throwing big flies.
Yeah, that Cobalt is, I cut everything pretty much.
Yeah. Didn't you get that 25 on a
I got that
on a 9-weight? Yeah. On the liquid outfit. Yeah. So it's been really fun putting the gear through the ringer this week. And so far it's been holding up to the test. So I'm happy.
And what are you guys doing? What is the line? Talk about that a little bit. What's the setup? Are you guys fishing? Is it all dry lines on the surface, or what are you using?
We use like floating lines for poppers when you want to use poppers on fly. And intermediate has been the most successful line for this season so far. With the water a little bit higher, I would say you definitely want an intermediate line. Yeah. But I know, like they're saying, when the water does drop, the floating lines are pretty much what the poppers are like candy when the water is low with the peacock. And it's nothing like catching a peacock on a fly on a popper. It's just on a top water. It's just, that's the ultimate. This season I got 2 on a top water, big ones. And the rest of them have been streamers on intermediate.
Gotcha. And you're just imitating bait fish and casting out and stripping it, casting towards structure and stripping it across. Is that what you're doing? Yeah, pretty much. it's hard to get like side fishing here because the water is a bit darker. But what I do when I go out there and I have time, because it's different me that I spent 3 months here in the jungle, that I have a lot of time to try different things. But for the clients, just cast as many times as you can. Just try to throw through the structure and listen to the guys. The guys know where they're moving, where they are. So just listen to them, and they show you where to cast, and you'll get them. It's bass fishing. It's exactly what I do back in Idaho for largemouth and smallmouth, throwing at structure, trying to get it under the trees. But we're just using bigger stuff, and we're catching way bigger fish, obviously, and more beautiful. These things look so cool. Are you catching some small fish as well? Is there a big diversity in size?
Yeah, we catch butterfly peacocks, also known as mariposas, and they're smaller. I mean, we've picked
Yeah, I
up
think
quite a few of those.
yeah, the butterflies average is about 3 or 4 pounds.
Right. And they're powerful too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy because I had a take that I could have sworn this week that was, going to be like a 10-pound fish, and I get the thing in, I'm like, what? It was like maybe 2 pounds. I mean, they're mean as well. And the cool thing about those guys is if you get into them, like they school up. They're called nests, and they'll school up, and sometimes you can catch a bunch out of right under.
But we have 3 species of peacock here, like the mariposa butterflies that Jason was talking about. We have the pintalapa, which is like the mutation of the tree bar, right?
That's the one with the spots,
With the spots,
the small spots.
They're very strong because they like the current, so they're like fit for the current. And the tree bar, which is the prize, the one you want to get, the big one. But the pintalapa, I got a 20-pounder in pintalapa in November.
Yeah, he's gonna keep bragging about the 20-pounders. I can see that.
Andres is kind of the peacock wizard.
I do. Yeah, that's his nickname.
Secret touch.
His nickname is the Wizard.
But I haven't caught fish in about 3 weeks here. I mean, I lost my magic.
You just got back.
Nice. No, it sounds amazing. I think for me, I would be thinking, I'm almost like thinking like Jeff Currier, right? The species. I would love catching the small, the big, like everything, and come out of there with as many as possible. It'd be great to catch a giant peacock bass, but you know what I mean? If I didn't catch one or if I caught a small one, I'd be okay. And then the vampire fish, I feel like for me, probably a lot of people, that would be almost equal. You catch those, like, what is that? Is the vampire fish something where you have to really target those, or are you catching them as kind of bycatch while you're fishing peacocks?
No, you definitely target them because most of the peacock bass fishing is around the lagoons and in the lagoons, and the Payara hang out in swift current. So we typically find that the Payara fishing is great for the last hour and a half of the day. So like kind of suggestion, if you're wanting Payara, like dedicate every day for that last hour and a half to go and get one. And the thing about Payara is it's a little bit like tarpon in that you hook and lose a lot of them because the bony mouths that they have. And we've even seen like I got a topwater that has a tooth sticking out of it.
Yeah.
They'll just hold on to the.
Well, they'll destroy your lures.
They'll hold on to it with their teeth and then realize that, hey, this ain't right, and then they'll just spit it, right?
Yeah, for fly fishing, I recommend to use obviously big flies with a lot of flies and have a tail hook.
I brought some musky flies down, Dave, and me and Andres are going to go out tonight and see if we can't swing one up.
Oh, nice. So you use big stuff for those guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Like 10-inch flies and
giant. Okay.
Just cast there on the current and
cast out in the current, and then let the current kind of swing it down across, and they're just sitting there eating whatever.
Yeah, a little bit. Let it sink. Use sinking lines for that because they're down deep. Just strip it slow, and eventually you're gonna get one. And once you feel it, it's like hitting a rock on the bottom. I mean, it's like
it is. You feel it. You think it's a rock.
And then just pull. Set it as hard as you can. Don't even. I mean, as hard as you can. Give it 3 big hits, and then you got it. If not, you're gonna lose. I mean, you probably catch. They say you catch probably 2 out of 10. You landed 2 out of 10.
Right. Yeah, we have a buddy, Miguel Encalada. He runs Fin Chasers Lodge in Mexico, and we had him down really early in the season, first week maybe.
In November,
And he was coming to catch peacocks, right? And then we went out the first day Payara fishing, and he caught 2. And then after that, he was like, "I just want to fish Payara," but like he ended up whacking them, man. I think he got like 5 or 6 during the trip.
They're very acrobatic. I mean, you see those big teeth, and I mean,
they have holes in the roof of their mouth that can accommodate those giant vampire teeth. And so when they close their mouth, the teeth actually stick up through the holes through the top of their head.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's pretty wild.
And then you have like the same like a shark. You have like the teeth behind it. They lose one teeth, and right away another one comes up.
Oh yeah, it does. Okay.
It's just crazy fish.
This is amazing. Yeah. So that's the vamp. Now, is there any? That's always the question, right? Is it safety, right? Is there issues being in the water, or is this all you're in boats? Are there safety concerns out there?
No, there's not. I mean, We rarely. I mean, haven't seen like a
Nothing.
reptile.
Nothing
there
like
all
venomous
year.
snakes. Something. I mean,
No,
like
It's the same risks that you run anytime you get into a boat anywhere.
yeah, because you go to the Everglades.
We got
and-
life jackets. We have good guys.
Yeah, so it's more safe. There's no animals or snakes that are gonna take you down out there, Roy.
Nothing different than you have in Florida on the Everglades. You know, you gotta be careful anyway. I just told the guys when you walk at night, just pay attention because I mean this is the jungle.
So far, no gators have tried to bite the hand off of any
We
of
have
our
no
guys.
gators here, so
I had a story about that.
and this jungle is so huge. I mean, I've never seen a jaguar. I saw the footprints a month ago, but I mean, I never seen anything like big here. Just parrots and birds and fish. You know,
monkeys.
monkeys.
And we got
Tree frogs.
we got some
Yeah, I
pink,
mean,
pink
nothing-
porpoise as well.
I wish
we
you
got
could
the
see a
river
jaguar.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was really cool. First day here, Dave, we get to our first spot where we're gonna fish, and all of a sudden I hear the water moving behind us, and we look back there, and there's like 3 big pink,
Yeah.
bright pink dolphins porpoising.
Oh,
out.
no kidding.
Yeah, really cool freshwater dolphins.
What are they called? What's the name of the
Tonina.
species?
Tonina.
Tonina.
Yeah, Tonina. The same as Brazil. Yeah,
Wow, that's cool.
there's like a dolphin, a pink dolphin. Yeah.
Do they look just like the body morphology, just like a regular dolphin?
Yeah, more or less. They're a little bit uglier, but yeah. They're pretty good.
God, that's so cool. So that's the great, and I think that is part of the jungle, right? All of those species that you never
Yeah.
know what you're going to see.
We have piranhas too. Don't worry about the piranhas. And my kid comes here every time, and he jumps in the water and swims. And
Oh yeah, piranha. You guys have piranha there.
yeah, piranhas. And my kid fishes for piranhas, and he jumps right after in the water.
Yeah, that's another species I would love to catch. A piranha. That would be really cool.
We can get you a piranha pretty easy.
Are those the easy ones? What about the what are the other species that you guys have out there that are kind of maybe the lesser known? Anything else?
We have the sarubi, the tiger catfish, and you can catch those on the fly as well.
So those are the big kind of shovel head catfish that are gray with like black stripes and spots. They have them in Bolivia and Argentina as well. It's one of my bucket list fish. I've still never got one.
Yeah, they get big. They get pretty big.
They get big and
They look like a shark a little bit, right? They look kind of like a shark almost to the
Yeah.
mouth.
yeah,
I know. They have like a dorsal fin,
yeah. They're kind of built for speed, man.
Yeah.
and they're like a
Wow.
sporting fish. They're not like they don't act like a catfish. You know, they're
No,
hunt and they're more like a
they're aggressive eating and they run pretty good. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
they don't hide in holes. They just stay like in the beaches and
Is it typical is this a normal trip, like a week long, like 6-7 days on the water? Like what are people doing? Are they coming down there mostly for peacocks or are they trying to
Yeah.
get some other species?
6 days for most everyone is targeting big peacocks. I mean that's it. But it's cool. Like this group, we got a group of guys kind of like it sounds like you are. They're interested in like the total what else they can catch and what fly they need for it and what line and all that stuff. So but we're focused primarily on catching big peacocks.
Big peacocks. Okay. And what does it look like kind of the day in the life or the week? Take us to a day maybe. So you get out there.
yeah.
So right now, what
absolutely.
time is it there?
The way to get here, the easy way to get here from the States is just take a flight to Bogota. And whenever you are, I mean, Bogota is a big city with the international airport and you can fly from Atlanta, from Houston, from Miami. And you just fly straight to Bogota. We pick you up there, take you to the hotel for that night. And the next morning, we take you to the airport again to take a small flight an hour flight to Puerto Inirida, which is the closest town to the lodge.
So like I was telling you, Dave, as far as being remote, now these guys live in Florida, so it's a little bit different, a little easier access. But me coming from Idaho, 4 flights and a 3-hour boat ride and 2 days of travel. But I love that stuff. I mean, I like to get as far away as I can. And it's kind of part of the adventure, right? Like you're catching flights, planes, trains, and automobiles.
Exactly.
We had a really
Idaho,
nice
everything is far, so
Yeah, I mean, from Miami or Houston,
yeah.
it's about a 4-hour flight to Bogota. We pick you up, and we go out for a nice dinner the first night somewhere really good in Bogota, and kind of go through the the expectations and talking about communicating with the guides and what to expect at camp and all that. The next morning we fly out, and it's an hour and 15 minutes to Anita, and then we get on a boat, and that's another 3 hours. Or if you go in the dark like we did, or like 4 hours, which is
pitch black, full speed
Yeah.
up the river using
No kidding.
spotlights to get here.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
But if you get earlier and early morning on the flight in the morning, you can even fish that afternoon.
Right. That's typically what we do, and you'll get a couple rigs rigged up and then go out and fish that first evening. I mean, it's 50-50. If there's any flight delays or anything like that, you won't have time for it. And then a typical day, I kind of going back to the original question. One thing we like to say is it's 2 to a boat. But if you and your partner agree, like you want to go super early, we go super early. Well, I mean, our kitchen team is in here at 3:30 in the morning getting everything ready. So if you want to get up at 5:30 and get out kind of first light, then you can do it. If you don't want to, if you want to sleep in a little, we don't care. Like we'll have breakfast for you, made to order. Go out. We fish till about noon.
Yep.
And then we come in and we have a lunch is just ready when you come in. And then a lot of people like to take I don't know if there's a monkey back there, but something's going on. Some people like to take a little siesta. Nick likes to just sit around and drink and wait for everybody to wake up.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, we go back out. We fish till dark. So
I'm using the midday to do work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's part of the whole experience, I think,
Yeah. And then come in and, shower up and meet for dinner or cocktails and dinner. And then it comes, after a few drinks, it's time to tell your lies.
It's a split day, right?
Yeah,
so
split day.
It's my favorite way to fish. I like to fish first light and last light, and getting the break in the middle of the day to come back and have lunch, relax a little bit, take a shower. It's my favorite way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then is the fishing, when you're out there, is it kind of better? Is it better in the mornings, evenings, or is it kind of you could fish any time of the day?
It pretty much depends on the water levels. I mean, when it's good, it's pretty much, and when it's on all day. I mean, I caught it in the mornings, I caught it in, close to noon, I caught it in the afternoon. Obviously, when it's hotter like it is right now, mornings have been better than the afternoons. But I mean, I'll say they can.
It can happen at any time.
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime. Okay.
Nick and I slept in this morning and got a little bit of a late start. We hit the lagoon closest to the lodge, and he stuck a nice one like within 15 minutes of being out there. So
best of the team so far.
but also we've gotten up early and whacked them early in the morning. So it's hard to say. I think overcast is good.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially with the water's high. I think the overcast
is key.
Yeah, overcast is good. Not to get them out of the bushes and
Yeah, we had a earlier season this year because of the rain. It's been raining all over the South America, so it's just kind of changed things a little bit, and the behavior of the fish kind of changed because of, I guess, the temperature of the water. They spawn earlier than they're supposed to spawn, and I mean, it's been a grind.
Oh yeah. Do they spawn? Are they spring spawners?
They're supposed to be spring spawner like April, but for some reason they spawn in February this year. I think it has to be with the rain and the level of the water,
Right. Cool. So that's pretty much it. What is, the going back to the lodge itself? Maybe let's get into, you mentioned the indigenous people. Talk about that a little bit. I'm trying to get to, it sounds like that's what really separates this experience a little bit, the people down there.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, when Andres and I talked about doing this, I told him and he completely agreed. Our number one goal is to take care of the Bachaco people and provide the opportunity for them. And then we'll come next. The client, the Bachacos, and, really trying to make sure that, we financially, that they're well taken care of, that they feel valued, and, that we have a partnership that is sustainable and long lasting. So this is their land. It's their lodge. They built it. We don't own anything here. We bring people here and they take care of everything else. And so we want to take great care of them. They're very kind, humble people. They are they're hospitable, warm. They work really hard. they're never thinking about what time it is to go in. They get so excited when you catch a nice fish. Their smiles are amazing. Like if Calvin Klein hears about these people, like he's gonna come try to recruit them. Like they're all just really beautiful people, and yeah, I mean, to me, that's like that, and the clients, our friends and the new friends we make, man, that's the best part of this for me. Andres, what do you think?
Yes, I mean, I agree 100% with you. I mean, we were on the same page and we start this, and I mean, it just they're their land. Like I say many times, and we're just lucky enough to be here, and then to allow us to run this place, and I mean, we just thank God every day that we're here and we're sharing this place with them.
Wow. And is there a section down there? I think I might have been reading like a 15-mile section, or that's only fishable.
Yes, we have about 15 to 20 miles of the river that is only for us. That's their land. I mean, the Bachaco tribe owns that part of the river, and we're the only ones that are allowed to fish here.
So you're not going to see other camps out there fishing that water.
I've not seen another human being other than the tribes on the banks of the river.
Oh, that's cool.
And they take care of the pickup bass. They know they cannot fish them and eat them. So there got some more species they can eat. And so they know the importance of the pickup bass, and they're making a living out of it. So they understood that they have to take care of it, and it's what they're doing very well, And that's keeping them away from illegal mining, from cocaine plantations, all that bad stuff that happened in Colombia. So they understand that all the communities around here, this is a pretty safe area, the people that are concerned about Colombia and security. I mean, I had so many important people that came here to the lodge asking questions about it. And I mean, we have never had any issues with security here in this area of the jungle. I don't know. One of the reasons pretty much is because it's not illegal mining around. There's no roads. It's only you can get here only by plane or by boat. That's the only two ways you can get here. So that makes it a lot harder for the criminals to get in here, which is a good thing for us. And the communities, they're good people, and they just don't want that in their lives, and they understood that.
They do. In fact, there's another Andres, and he's a member of the Bachaca tribe. His father is the chief of the tribe, and Andres was recently elected as the governor of all the tribes on the Caño.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did ask him. I said, "What are your goals for this leadership opportunity you have?" And he said, his number one goal is that we maintain. That they maintain on the river, that they protect from those, mining and the other elements that can draw in the wrong kind of people here. And so I thought, man, how lucky are we that we have that guy, representing, what our partnership is and what we're hoping to accomplish here.
Yeah, that is amazing. It sounds like you got the right cast of characters and the people down there
It's a really good crew they got here.
Do you think you need a bush plane to fish Alaska's legendary waters? Think again. FishHound Expeditions specializes in road-accessible adventures that don't skip on excitement. Picture yourself fishing for massive rainbow trout, Arctic grayling, and plenty of salmon species all within Alaska's epic road system. It's doable. I fished the road system on our first day with Adam and the crew, and it did not disappoint. The largest leopard rainbow I caught and landed was right off the road system. And we'll be driving up again this year, heading up from the lower 48 all the way up to Alaska to hit those streams again. You'll experience the breathtaking beauty of Alaska's wilderness, from mountain streams to hidden rivers, perfect for anglers of all levels. FishHound Expeditions makes it easy to explore Alaska. Why wait? Your Alaska adventure is just a drive away. Book your spot now before spaces fill up. That's FishHoundExpeditions.com. FishHound Expeditions.com. Don't miss out. Patagonia's new Swift Current waders are here, and they're changing the game for anglers who demand more from their gear. Designed for mobility, comfort, and real durability, these waders come in a range of styles, from ultralight and packable for backcountry trips to bomb-proof expedition waders, ready for big days on the water. And of course, they're built with recycled materials, smart seam construction, and technical features like fast-drying booties, removable pads, and easy waist-to-chest conversion. They're also backed by Patagonia's amazing guarantee, so they're made to last season after season. You can check out the full Swift Current lineup right now at wetflyswing.com/swiftcurrent, or stop by your local shop. That's Swift Current, SwiftCurrent, wetflyswing.com/SwiftCurrent. Go check it out now. We're going to start to take it out here slowly, not right away, but I wanted to start this off with our Plays of the Week segment. And this one, Nick, I'm going to go back to you because it sounds like you just got a pretty nice fish. So maybe take us there. I don't know. I can't remember what your experience is with the peacocks, but talk about that fish that you got and maybe take us there and how did it all happen?
Sure. Yeah. So I've gotten a pretty decent one each day I've been here, at least one, but usually it's about 3 to 4 per boat. Today, I think I got my best one so far. I'm going to top it tomorrow, of course, but, no, me and Jason got out, Jason needed to sleep in a little bit today and I had some work to get done this morning. So it worked out. We just kind of took it easy, leisurely pace, and went to one of the lagoons really close to the lodge here, just around the corner. I had a good feeling about a certain side of it, stepped up, probably 5th cast. I hooked into a fish, lost it. And was a little bummed about that. But about 5 minutes later, I hooked into a real one. We figured about 11, 12 pounds. But, I mean, you say that, and it doesn't seem quite, super crazy. I have no idea what a 20 or 25 would feel like. But these things, I mean, you can't give them an inch. So as soon as that fish eats, I'm locking that line down on my rod. I'm not moving an inch. The fish isn't moving an inch. It takes a minute. But we finally got it in the net.
Was the drag lockdown much stiffer than you would with like a steelhead?
So if the fish gets on your drag, you're going to lock it down to 100%. I try not to let them get on the reel. So if they have a chance to get on the reel, they have a chance to get in the trees, which is what you don't want. So, I mean, I try to be just as violent with them as they are with me. Like I said, I lock that line into my finger against the rod, and I'm like, you can either break my rod or I'm going to land you.
Oh, wow. So you're literally like locking down. You're just
instantly.
They're not going anywhere.
Yeah. You got to throw punches because they're throwing punches at you. But I love it, man. It's been a while since I had a fish fight me like that.
Yeah. What do they do? What is the fight? Do they dog you?
They dog you.
Jump? Yeah. They're just going boom.
Yep. Imagine, a 10-pound.
Oh, I'm thinking Chinook salmon because we've got this trip coming up up in Alaska, and I'm thinking like what a Chinook would be. I've heard these stories about it.
So a Chinook is going to run, right? So salmon, trout, steelhead, most game fish outside of the bass world are going to run on you. What I would liken it to is like a 40-pound striper out in the Atlantic. That's what a 10-pound peacock feels like. So I've done that. I've caught big stripers in the Atlantic and the Delta in California. And they fight similar. In the ocean, those fish have a lot more room. So you can put them on the drag. It's a lot easier to put a striper on the drag. Where these fish, you're in close quarters, you got trees right in front of you, you got to stop them. And if you don't stop them, you're not going to land them.
Yeah.
Right. So
a 20-pounder is a little bit different because they're going to get into your reel.
Right.
A 20-pounder, you can hold it with it. I mean, I tried many times. I just burned my fingers and I had to give it some space and get the drag. And hopefully you got a good drag and good reel and start fighting with the drag. And if it gets to the structure, you got 2 options. One is you lose it right away. And the other one is like just get tangled and our guys will dive into it and get the fish for you.
Oh, wow. You'll go for the line.
Yeah, they just got the goggles on it, jump in the water, and and that happens many times, many awesome. Times, even with regular tackle,
So my guy Javi has had to take a couple of swims this week, Dave.
No,
that's amazing.
Not for the fish, for the drones.
Oh, so for the drones,
we
right.
lost a couple drones, but we got them back because Javi is pretty quick on the draw with that.
They're good swimmers, yeah.
Oh, cool. So there's going to be some drone footage after this trip?
There should be some footage.
Yeah.
I will add on to Nick's story from this morning. If you haven't seen Nick fight a fish, that's something that should be on your bucket list. I was so elated. And it was like, I mean, Nick is like a sizable man. I mean, he is a beast of a man. And watching him up there, like with this, well, first of all, a 9-weight fly rod looks like tiny in his hands. And, and he's like shaking and just freaking going nuts. And I was like, it was like someone gave a little, like a kid, a toy for Christmas, and he just like so excited, he just crushed it in his little bare hands. I mean, it was just like
Yeah.
amazing, man. I can't wait to get it.
Like Eric, you know.
Oh yeah, like Andres' uncle was like that, dude. His hands were like 6 times the size of a normal human's hands. You know, you shake his hand,
Right.
absolutely get lost in there. And yeah, it was watching him fight, dude, or fight a fish was like I was really worried that he was gonna stroke out, and thankful that he didn't. But it was something to see, man.
Yeah, this is good. Well, anything else we want to talk about that we've kind of missed today, you know, that you guys want to shed light on? It sounds like, you know, we talked about a little bit on the local community, the fish species, the experience.
Yeah.
What are we missing here?
There's one thing I'll touch on, and it was something that I was concerned about the very first time I came down, was just like the perception of Colombia in general as being an unsafe place, and I get asked from pretty much most everyone,
Yeah.
you know, is it safe? And I can tell you that Colombia, I think, is projected to be one of the highest growth countries in the world over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think the perception of Colombia is fading, that old perception of the cartels and all that stuff. And when this program that we have, you know, it's so safe, and nobody can guarantee safety. But I've been down here. I mean, Andres has been down here his whole life, and I've been down here now like a dozen times. And I can tell you, I've never one time felt unsafe. I mean, I've been places like Belize City where I felt terrified. But like for where we stay in Bogota, and then when we fly out, this whole region that we're in, Guinea,
Yeah.
is one of the safest places. And if you look at a heat map of South America, it's one of the safest places in all of South America. So the fear factor, I mean, I just always say, you know, I got kids, Andres has kids, like we don't have death wish or anything. Like this is a place where the people are super friendly. By the way, you know, our dinners and drinks in Bogota are super cheap. Like it's just such a wonderful country that even if you're not coming down here to fish at Baku Lodge, you should not overlook Colombia. It's somewhere you should go. Everyone should go.
That was the only other thing I was going to touch on as well, David, and Jason pretty much covered it. But what I'll say is, you know, in America and in the US, you know, if you haven't traveled much, there's a lot of fear about leaving the country and coming to Latin America, or, you know, going to Asia or wherever it is, Africa. But when you actually do these things and you meet the people and you go to these places, you realize that it's just like anywhere in the world. You could go to a bad neighborhood in Chicago or LA and you'd be in a lot more danger than you probably would be anywhere in Bogota. You know what I mean? So my only thing would just be to say, you know, broaden your horizons, get out there, experience things. You'll realize that people are generally good everywhere you go. And you just gotta approach it with your eyes open and, you know, keep your head about you. But for the most part, you'll just meet the greatest people out there. And that's been my experience.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that. I think that there's, you know, just like in anything, there's always some bad apples in the bunch, but for the most part, people are, you know, are good. And it sounds like Bogota is a cool place that you want to get to. Well, before we get out here, let's do our little tip segment. I want to talk in this, maybe it will apply to some bass and other places too, but what would be a tip? Think about this, you guys, each of you. Well, maybe Andres, maybe we'll start with you on somebody's going to be going on this trip. They're going to be on the water going for a bass. What kind of tip are you giving them to have a better chance at catching one of those? And maybe that applies to other places.
Yeah, the best tip I can give you is keep the fly in the water all the time, you know. Don't stop, just fish hard and grind and you're gonna get rewarded. I mean, you just stay, I mean, it will come.
So could you catch a fish? Could you hook up like right at the base of the boat just as easy as you could out further?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It happens to me many times, and I just stripping, and when I get it right at the boat, and you just get it. I mean, it scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but you get it right because they've been following the fly since you got on the water, and you just decide to go right when it's next to the boat, you know.
Oh yeah. Are you guys doing the like the musky figure 8 thing at all at the end?
No. We don't do that.
Just musky. That's just a musky thing.
That's a musky thing, but they do follow to the boat similar to a muskie.
Most of the times they just explode right away. I mean, I say 90% of the time,
Three
the
strips,
3 or 4 strips, they're there,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
so pretty much what I do when I'm flying, so I don't get all my energy, is just I strip like 5, 6 times and pick it up and do it again. So I don't, because that's my experience with them. But I mean,
What's the strip like? Does the strip depend on the water clarity, or is it always the same type of strip?
it depends on the feeling you have. I mean, you just sometimes it's low. I mean, you just gotta play with it all the time.
I like to change it up a lot, like I do with any bass fishing. Sometimes slow, sometimes aggressive, sometimes twitching, sometimes letting it drop.
Yeah,
All the above.
I told Nick this morning, because we went to the lagoon closest to the lodge, and I told him if you were just diehard, like I gotta catch a 20-pound peacock and you want to make the absolute best of your time, you go to one lagoon and you fish that lagoon a different way every time, and don't run to another lagoon. I can't do that, but I'm just saying if you really wanted to, because that lagoon in particular, like you can go fish it and then leave, and then the next person goes in there.
Yeah.
Catch.
I'll just say it's the juiciest looking bass there I've probably ever seen in my life. I mean, every single bucket looks like there should be a 20-pounder there.
Yeah, you think it is? Just keep working on it. Probably is. I mean, the fish is just, I mean, I've seen with the guys, like the other day, one of the guys came up to me. He went diving at night, spear fishing for some other species. And he told me, hey, the lagoon that was fishing in the morning, I saw like 15 or 20 big Picassos sleeping there. And where I was casting all day, and they don't move. I mean, they're like a regular largemouth bass. They don't move.
They're territorial.
They're territorial.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they hold
Yeah,
it.
don't
Okay.
start there
And that's
whole
why
lot.
they're aggressive. Yeah.
Right.
And you just work those lagoons and give 3 or 4 rounds. And I mean, I'm that type of fisherman, the angler, that I don't change flies too much. I just stick with one fly the whole day. And
Yeah. What's your one fly? What's your fly? What color? Do you have like a color?
My favorite is red head and white streamer.
Red and white.
Yeah, that's my. You asked me to choose one.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Chartreuse. Okay.
Chartreuse is really good right now.
Nothing too flashy. They don't like too much flash. I mean, you just, like plain colors.
Yeah. So you're imitating. Are there just a ton of bait fish?
Dave, I got to give a quick shout out to my buddy Hogan Brown, Captain Hogan down in California. You know him, right?
Oh, yeah.
He sent me some of his big striper flies with the giant dumbbells and the rattles in them. And man, that has been the ticket for me this week, because with the water so high, you got to get them down a little bit.
Yeah.
But they've been working great. I don't think I've changed a fly in the last 3 days.
Yep. Yeah. Hogan's he's doing the stripers down there, isn't he? What's he doing?
Yeah, he's been guiding stripers in the Delta for 20 plus years. He also does steelhead and trout. One of the best people you'll meet in the industry for sure.
Yeah.
So shout out Hogan.
Yeah, Hogan's good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just be ready to cast and cast and cast here. I mean, you gotta cast all day long.
Yeah. So let's go back to the gear really quick on the. So is it an 8 or 9? That's good, or is sometimes a 10 weight? Is it pretty much what it is the standard?
I don't use 10 weights. I mean, people like them. It wears me out. I think 9 weights is enough. You have a good rod with a good reel. I mean, that's plenty. And I got 20 pounders on 8 weight also, and handle pretty good. So obviously 8 weights is more easier to cast and everything. So I prefer the 8 weights sometimes, but 9 weights is plenty.
9 weights, okay. And Nick, on your 9 weight, is it what do you call that? Is that kind of a medium action, a full flex? What type of rod is the one you're using?
We're doing a fast action rods down here.
That's fast.
Yep. To throw those big flies, and really even more so for stopping the fish, right? You don't want a ton of flex in your rod. You don't want a fiberglass rod or a bamboo rod or anything like that down here. You're going to want a fast action, probably saltwater oriented fly rod for this kind of fishing, which the Cobalts and the Liquid Max outfits have just been perfect.
Okay. Gotcha. And what is the Liquid Max between the Liquid Max and the Cobalt? What's the difference? Is it the finish or?
Well, so the Liquid Max outfit is a rod reel outfit. So you buy it with the Liquid Max reel, and it's a Liquid Max rod. Whereas our Cobalt rods are specifically suited for saltwater fishing. They're a standalone rod. The Cobalt's going to be a little bit stiffer than the Liquid Max, but the Liquid Max is still a pretty stiff stick. I mean, it's made for cutting through wind. It's made for big game fish, right? Like that's exactly what we designed that rod for. Anything from, muskie to salmon to tarpon to peacock bass in the jungle.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's keep wrapping this up. Jason, why don't we go to you? Did you have a think of a tip? You're on. Did you give Nick all of the best tips already on this trip?
No, man. I mean, he's got a fish brain, so he didn't need a whole lot. I guess my biggest tip would be just practice throwing tight because that's huge here. I mean, you can catch them in the middle against like during when the water's low. It's always super beneficial. I do a lot of permit fishing, so I'm not used to it really throwing it like when I want to swing by a fish. If I go 5 feet by him or 2 feet, it's fine. I can make up for it on the retrieve. But out here, I mean, the tighter you get to structure, the
2 inches off the trees
right.
is what you want.
So I would just say spend a little time. You're going to be down here 6 days, and don't wait till your 3rd day to get like in a groove with it. Like try to practice, go somewhere and practice because it'll pay dividends.
My biggest tip would be, and this applies to any kind of bass fishing, and I know it applies to a lot of the salt guys for permit and tarpon and stuff. When you're casting, your stripping hand is another guide. You don't want to drop the fly line out of your hand when you're casting. You keep that line in your left hand or your right hand, depending on how you cast, but it allows you to stop the fly before it gets into the trees and really put it right on that bank, right? And it also allows you to be tight to the line as soon as that fly hits the water. So, because in a lot of situations, the fish is going to eat the minute that fly hits the water, right? And you want to be tight. You don't want to be, having to reach for your fly line to set the hook. It's something that's really easy to practice at home. I can't say enough, like keep that line in your other hand.
And he's saying that because I didn't do it, but
Jason was struggling. Jason was struggling with it a little bit.
Right.
I had to tell him a couple times.
Yeah, that's right. No, that is a good tip. Yeah, being able to stop it before it gets hung up on the bank or on a stick or something like that. Drop it in. Are you doing like a kind of a tuck cast to get it dropped down, or are you just casting normal, just right to the spot and letting it sink?
I mean, I do kind of a weird cast. Because I do a lot of bass fishing, but it's almost like an underloop, so that the fly comes up under the trees rather than down.
Oh, right.
Trees.
The underloop.
Something I kind of picked up from bass fishing on.
Well, it sounds like kind of throwing a curveball. Yeah. How do you do the underloop?
I don't know. I tried today. I couldn't do it.
I do a lot of the curveballs too. So if you're doing a really hard sidearm cast, you can really buck that fly around the corner,
Yeah, I gotcha.
That helps a lot too.
Nice. This is awesome, guys. Well, I think we could probably leave it there. There's plenty more to talk about. I think maybe we'll save it for the next one. Anything else, you guys? You feel good about this? I think that, one thing I think when I hear people talk about these trips, I feel like, one objection might be cost. What does it cost to do something? Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What it takes to put something like this together? Is this kind of a really high-end trip, or what would you guys say to that?
Yeah, I think for a 6-day trip, we're around $5,000, and with
oh wow, that's amazing.
And that includes
Not bad.
That includes your one-night hotel in Bogota. That includes all your transfers, the boat trip here, which is the fuel for the boat trips is expensive. It includes your flight on Satana from Bogota to Anita, and
all beer you want,
all food, all beer.
Wow.
Yeah, and your guide.
So you get your flight to Bogota, and then you're pretty much all in for $5,000.
They took care of us from the minute we got off the plane in Bogota. I had a guy with a sign with my name on it.
Oh, there you
go. To a really nice hotel. Met up with Jason. We went to one of the best restaurants in Bogota. Just had an awesome first night. And then the transfers are all taken care of. Hop a quick flight out of Bogota to come out here. Super smooth.
Yeah, and shameless plug here. We'll hold our price. It's $4,900. It's probably going to go up. But anybody who wants to go on the website and
reference this podcast
and reference the podcast and the email, and we'll hold that price for them for next season.
Love that. That's amazing. Yeah, I feel like that is from what again, I haven't been there, but just for you guys painting this picture, and I know the cost of trips around the world, like $5,000 is amazing for, you're talking a week out there. That's pretty.
For this kind of experience, it's a deal.
Yeah, cool. Well, we should send everybody out to, is it BakuLodge.com? Is that the best place to track you down?
That's it. BakuLodge.com or Baku Lodge on Instagram, and hook up with us on IG, and we'll do some live streams and stuff. Gonna be good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that, and then we can track Nick. Just Lamson. Where should we send folks if they want to check out some of the gear we talked about today?
LamsonFlyFishing.com is where you're going to want to go. We have our entire product lineup on there, all the specs, all the info you need.
Perfect. All right, guys. Andres, Jason, Nick, this has been amazing. I hope, fingers crossed, that eventually I can get down your neck of the woods and experience this as well. But
Absolutely, you're very welcome. Just let us know, and this is your house, so just wherever you have time, and next season or wherever you want to do it, and
Yeah, we'll put you with a fun group.
yeah.
perfect.
One of our friends and family groups.
All right, sounds great. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome.
All right, Dave. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
a lot, Dave.
Have a good one.
All right, your call today is to check in with Baku Lodge, BAKULODGE.com. Baku Lodge, check in. The price we set there, $5,000, actually $4,900 for a week, is pretty hard to beat. And it sounds like you're going to get a chance to customize your trip, whether you want to get up early, sleep in a bit, stay out late, take that siesta midday. I think the guys shared the details today, which was good. If you haven't already, check in and you can follow this show. Just click that plus button or subscribe on any podcasts you're out there. If you're interested in learning out more about some of our trip and travel programs, you can go to wetflyswing.com/pro, sign up there, and you can get information. Next week's episode, if you haven't heard, CJ's Real Southern Podcast, it's out. It's going strong. CJ's Real Southern Podcast. We need to get this going. If you haven't heard of Chad Johnson, he's bringing it every week with some great guests and talking big fish. All right, we got to get out of here. Hope you have a great afternoon. And if it's evening, hope you're having an amazing evening. And if it's morning, even if it's bright and early, 4 a.m. in the morning right now, and you're getting ready to head off, hope you have a good day. And we'll see you on that next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Wet Fly Swing Fly Fishing Show. For notes and links from this episode, visit wetflyswing.com.